G'day you mob, Pete here, and this is another episode of Aussie English, the number one place for anyone and everyone wanting to learn Australian English. So today I have a Goss episode for you where I sit down with my old man, my father, Ian Smissen, and we talk about the week's news, whether locally down under here in Australia or non-locally overseas in other parts of the world. Okay, and we sometimes also talk about whatever comes to mind, right? If we can think of something interesting to share with you guys related to us or Australia, we also talk about that in the Goss. So these episodes are specifically designed to try and give you content about many different topics where we're obviously speaking in English and there are multiple people having a natural and spontaneous conversation in English. So it is particularly good to improve your listening skills. In order to complement that though, I really recommend that you join the podcast membership or the academy membership at aussieenglish.com.au, where you will get access to the full transcripts of these episodes, the PDFs, the downloads, and you can also use the online PDF reader to read and listen at the same time. Okay, so if you really want to improve your listening skills fast, get the transcript, listen and read at the same time, keep practicing, and that is the quickest way to level up your English. Anyway, I've been rabbiting on a bit. I've been talking a bit. Let's just get into this episode, guys. Smack the bird, and let's get into it. Go for it. Your story, man.
My story.
Yeah, you go
what have we got? Victoria's new Tesla battery in
this
Geelong.
is mine as well, yes.
All right, well, I won't steal it from you.
No,
you
no,
go.
no.
I've had all the rest. So.
All right, I can read out the title. Victoria plans 300 megawatt Tesla battery to help stabilise grid as renewables increase. So, new battery near Geelong would be one of the world's biggest, lithium-ion batteries. Yeah. And the renewable energy company, I guess it's said as Neon, won the contract to build it near G-Town. That's our nickname for Geelong. G-Town.
Yeah, just north of Geelong.
So, it's going to have the power capacity of 300 megawatts and storage capacity of 450 megawatt hours, twice the size of that is in Hornsdale, South Australia, which is the
first one that Elon Musk put in.
Still
one of the great political performances of all time.
We've got blackout issues because of the heat wave. I'll fix it. Let me fix it. Yeah. He's great like that though. He'll just be like, challenge accepted. Yeah. Although he doesn't handle being knocked back too well.
He doesn't, but he did. But he handled this one really well. Just a little bit of background for this one, that because of the way power is generated in Australia,
electrical power,
yes, not political power. Because of the way most of our power, electric power in Australia, is generated through burning coal. Yep. We have a bit of gas, and we have, depending on where you are in the country, we have a bit to a lot of hydro. Tasmania is nearly all hydro. They get topped up from Victoria if they need it. We've got a bit of hydro in Victoria, a bit in New South Wales, but not much anywhere else. A little bit in Queensland. But the rest is basically burning fossil fuels. Gas power stations you can fire up in a few hours. Coal-burning power stations take days to fire up. So coal-burning power stations are running all the time. We're effectively wasting a lot of electricity.
Because you just need them on.
Because you just have to have them on. Because we have to be producing the right amount for the peak. Yeah. So in places like Victoria, where we have a small percentage, it's not single digits, but it's not much more than, 10%, I don't think, of our power is produced through hydroelectricity. That hydro is turned on because hydro is instant.
And this is the snowy
Snowy is one, but we also have a few up near Falls Creek, Mount Beauty and so on. So there's a few of them around. But the beauty of hydro is that basically you just, open the floodgates, literally. Mm-hmm. The water runs downhill, turns the turbines, and you've got electricity.
Thanks, gravity.
So, exactly. So you've got that instantly. So we use our hydro in Victoria to do the peak power. So morning and evening, so, breakfast time and dinner time, basically, are the peak times for electricity requirements in Melbourne, Melbourne is 80% or something, 85% of the population of the state. So you're basically talking about power into Melbourne. And that works really well because we can then have the coal burning power stations running for the standard power required over the 24-hour period, and the peaks we're running through hydro, and there's a bit of gas that we can throw in if we have to as well. That works fine for most of the time. But then in summer, where you have a lot of really hot days in a row, people are running air conditioners.
Yeah.
And air conditioners are the biggest problem.
They're sucking a
lot of electricity, and it's not just domestic air conditioners, but it'll be, air conditioners in big buildings, in cities and so on.
Yeah.
And we basically run out of electricity. So we have these sort of brownouts, and cycle through where, little areas are just cycle through. Well, sorry, we're going to turn your electricity off for half an hour. A lot of them now are telling you that it's going to happen. They'll predict when this is going to happen. We're going to have 2 40-degree days in a row. Right, Friday, we're going to be turning the electricity off and, cycling through. So your area is going to go off for an hour in the middle of the afternoon or whatever. Now, that's not terribly helpful for people. And so what happened, and there was a major power outage in South Australia a few years ago where basically the whole state went down for hours.
2017.
Elon Musk just, made a typically Elon Muskian statement and just said, I can fix that. I can put it's 150 or 160 megawatt.
Yeah, I think
batteries,
something like that.
Stick them out there. And you can just use, either you use the, extra electricity you've got overnight when you're still producing it, you don't need it. You just power up the batteries, or you're using renewable energy to power the batteries. And the government went, oh, all right. And they called his bluff.
Yeah, done.
They just said,
do it.
And he said he could do it in 3 months.
Done. Do it.
And they just said, okay. But how much? It was $1 billion or something.
Yeah.
And they just said, well, this is $1 billion risk. And he just said, it's no risk, because if I don't do it in 3 months, you get it for free.
Mm.
And he did it in 3 months.
Yeah.
And
I
turned
would
it on.
hate to work for Elon
And
Musk.
the day after they turned it on, there was a power outage in New South Wales.
Yeah.
South Australia didn't even know that they had actually connected this thing up to the main grid, because the states, particularly Victoria, South Australia and New South Wales, share electricity grids, so they can shuffle electricity backwards and forwards between them. There was this power outage in New South Wales, and within a microsecond, the battery had kicked in, kept New South Wales, this little area of New South Wales running, and South Australia went, oh, that's cool.
Seems to be similar to this. Seems to work really well. Maybe we should invest in this.
So it's great that we're actually getting this thing. It's good for our region because it again puts us on the map. I think it's only going to create 85 jobs or something in the long term. But 85 jobs is 85 jobs, but they're tech jobs as well. So,
well, and we need to be investing in that sort of, exactly,
and expertise. It's got to be good for us.
This is one of those things that I'm sort of irritated about with, us focusing so much on exporting goods, whether it's food or iron ore or coal. It's kind of like we need to be investing back in exporting knowledge
or manufactured products that are our knowledge that has gone into producing.
Yeah, exactly. So if we spend all this time and energy on renewables and anything, just engineering, India's going crazy, as you say, has the highest number of PhDs that study engineering in the world, and they effectively just outsource a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Or get it outsourced to them. They're leveraging that aspect of education and how important it is for the future.
And look, if we can double up, and Elon Musk, and clearly these are Tesla batteries, so they're Elon Musk's technology, but it's an Australian company that's putting it in. But if we can start to leverage this sort of technology and then combine renewable and I hesitate to call them renewable energy. They're not renewable. Solar energy and wind energy is not renewable. It's just
can't renew it.
It's captured energy that you effectively get for free. Yes, you've got to have the technology and the expense to capture it, but it's not renewable. You don't recycle it and get it again. But that aside,
passive energy.
It gets called renewable energy. So I'll live with the broader description.
Yeah.
If we can start to develop that sort of technology in Australia, we've got more coastline than
you can shake a stick at.
Than you can shake. I think we're the third biggest coastline in the world.
Yeah. Although Canada craps on us.
Canada and Russia both crap on us, but theirs is ice.
No, well, theirs is islands that because
but it's all ice.
Yeah, because they were covered in ice sheets.
Yes.
The ice sheets has flattened everything out, and so you end up with lots of puddles, effectively that are massive, and so to the size of cities, and you end up with a lot of coastline.
I think Norway has the
fjords,
the longest coastline to area ratio of any country in the world. Because they're a long, skinny country with lots of inlets and fjords. So same thing, glaciation. So if we can start to capture that sort of thing, why we don't have huge solar farms with battery technology sitting underneath them. Now this is a good example of let's build the battery thing in the first. Let's build the battery stations in the first place, but then build them over the top of them. Why aren't we just planting? Because effectively you've got this, we're going to have, it's something like an acre of batteries sitting out there. Why don't we have an acre of solar capture sitting on top of it? Now that's an extra bit of technology and there'll be complications and access points and all that sort of stuff. But they're the sort of things that I think we've got to start to do because we've got more sunlight than any place in the world.
And you can shake a stick at.
Yeah, well, sticks.
Maybe Saudi Arabia would probably beat us. Some of the Middle Eastern countries.
In terms of
of sunlight.
Yeah, but we've got area.
Yeah,
we've got this thousands of square kilometres of nothing.
Yeah.
As far as human habitation, yes, there are some beautiful ecosystems out there, but ecology aside. There's no reason why we can't have solar farms.
Yeah, just dump one of them every 100 acres or so, 1,000 acres.
Yeah.
Far out. But it's apparently the Andrews government, the Victorian government, is aiming for 40% of the state's electricity from renewable energy by 2025, so 5 years from now, and then 50% by 2030. So do you imagine, what do you see the end of your life? Where do you think, assuming you live for another 20 years, 30 years, where do you think Australia is?
I'll take that.
Where do you think Australia is going to end up in terms of renewable energy?
Where do I want it to be?
Yeah.
Or where do I think it will be?
And
the think it will be won't be technology related. It'll be politics related. If we still have the current government that we've got for the next 5 years,
it'll be the same.
Nothing will change because they are so tied into coal, oil, and gas money. That aside, and we're not going to turn off coal, burning power stations tomorrow. We're not going to stop burning gas. We're not going to stop using oil tomorrow. But that aside, if we actually put money and time and effort into creating these sort of enterprises, then we should be completely renewable energy, or at least non-carbon burning energy, within 20 years.
Yeah.
And this sort of step is the first thing, because people always say, solar energy is all very well and wind energy is all very well, but what happens at night and what happens when the wind's not blowing? And you need battery storage. And the thing is that the only way you're ever going to get better at doing this is by doing it.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that Elon Musk took.
It's not a good argument. Don't bother trying because it's not 100% of a solution.
It's not better than what we currently have now. But that's what Elon Musk did. He had two ambitions. One was to go to Mars.
Yeah.
And whether he does that or not doesn't matter. But the second one was he just wanted better battery storage.
Well, he needs that in order to sustain life on Mars, I believe. Yeah. So that's a big part of it. It is interesting.
And so he started creating electric cars. He didn't create electric cars because he wanted to create electric cars.
Well, this is something I wanted to mention.
Solve the battery storage process.
All of
having
his businesses
smaller,
are like that.
Better batteries was required for cars. So all right, now I have a reason to do it. And it's the most successful car company in the world. We're in this,
which is still yet to make a profit, unfortunately.
I think he started making a profit in the United States now, but worldwide, maybe not. But again, he doesn't care because he will make a profit in the end. And the challenge we have with, we've sort of skipped over into electric cars, but electric cars in a place like Australia are always going to be argued against because of convenience. That people are going to want, if I want to drive from, here to Sydney, then I'm going to have to stop halfway.
Multiple times, and I have to wait.
And I'm going to have to wait. Now, if you're in a Tesla, you only have to stop for 20 minutes, full recharge at a Tesla power station.
Yeah.
So you'll stop once halfway and then you're done. You'll make it. if you buy one of the new Hyundais, you're going to probably have to stop. I think it's 6 hours full recharge on that from a normal 240 volt. Now, you can't just plug into a Tesla one at the moment because they're incompatible. So there's that sort of thing. But what we need to do is have a whole lot of those cars being pushed and subsidised so that we can create an industry around them in Australia rather than importing them. And I was looking at it today. Hyundai have just come out with 2 new electric cars. And yeah, we've had Hyundais for several generations of them. And I was looking at it today.
Dad's bought them with Mum. Mum and Dad have bought Hyundais for probably the last three generations
that Mum has had.
Hatchbacks.
Little
nice little hatchbacks.
Hyundai hatchbacks. Great little cars. They make a really good car.
Yeah.
And they just come out with, I think they now have 3 electric cars, a hybrid car and a rechargeable hybrid. So you can actually just, instead of having to run it on petrol to recharge, you can just put an ordinary 240 volts into it. If we just went straight electricity, effectively replace the car we currently have, if we went for the diesel version that we currently have, we could buy it for $25,000. If we wanted to buy the equivalent one in electric car, it's about $70,000. Now you're going to pay 2.5 times the price just to have an electric car,
and for less functionality, right?
It'll be about the same functionality because they've got a range now. Their top end are pretty good. Big challenge we have with that though is, and I'm all for buying electric cars. If I could buy an electric car for just a run around sort of car,
in to use locally,
I'd buy it
short
tomorrow
distances.
if I could get one for 50% more, but not 250% more.
Yeah.
But the problem we have in Australia is that that's not solving one bit of our carbon, based fuel usage. Because where's the electricity coming from for me to charge my car? It's coming from coal, which is worse than running diesel engine. It's far less efficient charging an electric car from a coal-based power station than just using a diesel engine to drive the car. So,
especially if you bought that car second-hand.
And that's where we absolutely have to have these things. It shouldn't. The Australian government should be just saying, we'll just take all tax off, import tax off those electric cars.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden that car's going to cost, instead of 70,000, it might cost me 50,000. And then I'm going to go, maybe not.
Yeah.
But there'll be plenty more people who will bite that and go into it. Or if they subsidised it and just said, the first 50,000 of those cars that we get into Australia, the government will pay 50% of it. Because we want to encourage industries around those things.
Yeah.
And
this is a bigger issue, right?
We've been subsidising petroleum burning cars in this country for 100 years.
Yeah.
And nobody thinks twice about it because it was a manufacturing industry and we wanted to do it. If we subsidise the cars coming into the country in order to set up an industry in Australia to support them, we don't need to manufacture those cars, but we need to be able to support those cars. So have more solar energy around, more power stations, more this, more that. It'll work. But anyway, end of rant on electric cars.
Problem is, though, that it's too politicised, right? And this is the sort of broader story with climate change and global warming. It's just, and game theory, right? I think most countries, most governments are kind of playing the sit and wait and see what's going to happen and wait till the 11th hour when things get really bad, and then it's kind of like, all right, now we need to bite the bullet. Or they're hoping that the bigger countries kind of toe the line and deal with it for them. And Australia's only 1% of the world's emissions. What do we have to do with it? What can we change? 1%. Yeah, exactly.
But what we can change is by setting up industries that we can then export those to other countries, so that if we can export that technology, particularly where we are, back into Southeast Asia and East Asia, where we've got the world's biggest car manufacturers now, other than Tesla, are all in Korea, Japan, and China.
Yeah.
If we can be pushing our technology into those car manufacturing things, making them cheaper and easier to use, then that's a trade thing for us. And if we can also, the same things, a lot of those companies are manufacturing cars in Indonesia and Malaysia. We can help them out too. So it's not just, we can save our 1%, but we can push our technology out into those countries. That's a huge thing.
It's a bit politically myopic, right? It's all about us. But
and I think that's
we benefit when the rest of the world benefits, and vice
that
versa.
whole green economy thing came around, 30 or 40 years ago, where people said we have to start investing in environmentally sound technologies. And then the blue economy movement came around about 10 years ago, saying let's look for alternatives.
And how can we reuse our own waste?
Alternatives to reuse things rather than remanufacturing them. But I think we're getting into this, and you can pick another colour, let's call it the gold economy, where we're investing in future technology that is going to be an export business for us, not as an individual in the country, because we're never going to be manufacturing cars in Australia again.
It's too expensive.
It's too expensive, and why would we? Why would we be competing with Korea and China and so on?
We're in a position to educate people so that they can become incredible engineers or good at manufacturing and management or whatever it is that we can then export that.
But if we're also able to, be the world leader or one of the world leaders in solar energy, then we can start to have hybrid cars that have solar charging in them. That's ultimately what electric cars will look like. Yeah. And I hope I see those in my lifetime, where we have efficient enough solar panels that if I drive around or have my car parked outside during the day, my battery will be continually charged.
Oh, well, you probably need hydrogen as well.
You might.
Hybrid like that, where you can be like, well, you
but
can
if I don't
kick
have to
around
burn
on that
anything,
for enough.
Hydrogen, I'm still, I'm a bit of an old cynic on that one, because
there's going to be a lot of bombs on the road.
That's new technology. That is old. People have been burning hydrogen for decades, and the trouble is that hydrogen explodes. But anyway, that's another story.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Alrighty, you mob, thank you so much for listening to or watching this episode of The Goss. If you would like to watch the video, if you're currently listening to it and not watching it, you can do so on the Aussie English TV channel on YouTube. This is different from the main channel. You'll be able to subscribe to that. Just search Aussie English TV on YouTube. And if you're watching this and not listening to it, you can check this episode out also on the Aussie English podcast, which you can find via my free Aussie English podcast application on both Android and iPhone. You can download that for free, or you can find it via any other good podcast app that you've got on your phone. Spotify, podcasts from iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is. I'm your host, Pete. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a ripper of a day, and I will see you next time. Peace.